Again, I feel I didn't put any makeup on, and my wig is looking, I don't know. Anyway, I'm still trying to, still haven't settled in properly with this wig. I do like it when it's like, when it's all done and but the hair seems to be a bit coarser than than the other one I had. So I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna do my best with it, and because it's still new. That's the thing. Still new. It's just a couple of weeks old, but I feel like it looks like I've had it for a while because it's. But anyway, hair things. Anyway, when I went out for my morning walk, I thought, let me make a video about being sexual, and breaking the stronghold of being sexual as a shameful thing. And I was thinking on the way, how do I frame this as a video? This first of all, this will be the first video in the series that I'm starting on women, especially being more sexual. Being sexual, being a feeling thing, being on the feeling good, which we know here is a very important part of creation. Feeling good, feeling pleasure. Feeling pleasure is a very important part of the creative, if not the most important part of the creative process. And it's under the feminine principle of creation. So, feeling pleasure and being in pleasure, and being pleasurable is very important for us, especially those of us that are in the feminine body in this pretty world. And it's important for us as creators. It's important for us to I like my left hand. My right hand, I don't know. With the nails, actually, yeah. Okay. So I'm liking my hands a bit more. That's a good thing. I'm gonna start wearing rings. Why not? I haven't worn you in ages, so this is a try. All right. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. So I thought, how do I phrase this as a video? Where do I start with this video? Because I really want to talk about it in a way that lodges it not only in my mental body, but in my physical body, where I embody it, but also where I help you guys embody it. So, first of all, we acknowledge ourselves as creator beings who came down to this, who descended to this physical 3D world to enjoy the unfolding of our creation. And we do that by feeling good, staying in alignment with our thoughts, staying in alignment with our thoughts and what we want, nurturing our desires. What other things have I talked about? Have I written down? Yeah, being a knowing and pure expectation, feeling good about all that is, being in love with all that is, being in alignment, I said that, and being what we want. Being what I want is how I have what I want, or is how I create what I want. So yeah, we know that being what we want is how we create what we want. So if we want pleasure as an end result, or if we want to feel good, then feeling good is how we start, and feeling good is how we continue to be. It's the same thing on the pleasure is also a part of feeling good, because that's what pleasure just gives, and sex is a very big part of that. And we know why this part has been suppressed in women, because it is a creative power. It's got a lot of potent creative power. And I was thinking of how all this happened, and I had so many realizations of how our mental nature, we created our mental nature when we decided to descend to the world. When we decided to descend to the world of reason, the 3D world that we live in. The 3D world that we live in, the age of reason, the age of logic, and this is how we were able to create multiple worlds with our mental nature. But the mental nature that we have is full of illusion, because we can distort the essence of what something really is, which is what we did with sexuality, which is under feeling being one of the original creative methods, not one of the, but the original way to create in the spiritual realm. It was the feeling realm. There was no such thing as form. It was just feeling and being. And when we descended to the 3D material world, we had to create distortions, which shame and fear are part of. And shame and fear are lodged in shame and fear are sit more powerfully in our mental nature, because it is in our mental nature, in our thinking, as we think, is how we distort the essence of what it is, what is exactly. And we create new meanings around things. And this is also one of the ways in which we distorted what it means to be sexual, because our sexual nature, which is a feeling, which is part of our feeling nature, it just is. It is a potent creative force within us. That's about it. We used our thinking capacity to try to label it into something that it is not, and distort it and make it into something shameful, shame is another one of the reasons why it's not one of the reasons why we are here, but it's one of the tools we are using to slow down the process of creation. And so, we know all this, but what I want to talk about today is this topic was actually spurred by this thought that I have talking about sex. How can I have an open, comfortable sex conversation without giggling or feeling uncomfortable? This is a personal thing for me, because I've always been interested somehow in sex and sexuality. I had some curiosity about it. I had a lot of curiosity about it, but I was never really comfortable actually being a sexual being and sexually expressing myself. But that's what I wanted most of my life. I've always admired women who were sexually expressive, who didn't care about what anyone thought of them, and they were just comfortable being sexual, and they had that power in them to express their sexual nature wherever they are, and to use it as a way to get what they need in this world. And so that's what I want to activate in me, because it has been dormant for a long time. And I think that's why my passion has gone down. Because the other day I was thinking, how is it that I'm not passionate about things in my life now? I used to be so passionate about, I'm still passionate about some things, but you know what I mean. The passion I'm talking about, the drive to really want to have something, the drive to really wanna do something, wanna be something. It's I feel like it's not potent anymore in me, and that's one of the reasons why. It's because my sexuality has been suppressed for so long, and I want to bring it out. And so the title of this video, let's see. I did think about naming it "Breaking the Stronghold of Being Sexual" as being shameful, but that sentence is still kind of negative. It's still kind of focusing on what we do not want, and here we focus on what we want. So I think what we're gonna title this video, and just to make it easy, is okay. So as I said, how can I have an open, comfortable sex conversation without giggling? If you're uncomfortable, well, that's yeah. How to let's say how to have an open, comfortable. How to be. How to be. How to be sexually expressive. How to talk about. Let's break it down into talking about sex, which is talking about sex, which is talking about sex. That's one thing. Being sexual. What does it mean to be sexual? What does it look like to be sexual? And acting sexual with a man, we all know how that looks like. But in our own private space, what does it mean to be sexual? That's what we're going to explore. So I'm just going to start talking. Maybe by the end of this video, I'll know what the title is. So, okay. So first of all, what does it mean to be? What does it mean to be sexual? This is also going into the mental channel again, because meaning is the looking for meaning is activated in the mental channel, and meaning can be distorted. So when we say what does it mean to be sexual, it can mean many things to many people, but here we're just looking at it as we want to explore it at its essence. So, and when we do that, there's not much to say anyway, because being sexual just is, it's just part of our nature. We have many natures. We have our mental nature. We have our physical nature. We have our physical, not physical nature. Well, yeah, we have our animal nature. We have our feeling nature, which the sexual nature is part of. We also have our spiritual nature, and these things just are. I think what I just perceive right now is just a way for us to perceive. There's a way for us to perceive. So our sexual nature it's just a perceiving mechanism. Perceiving pleasure. To be comfortable being sexual, first of all, that in itself is a it's a distortion that we've followed and that we've bought into for a long time. And to get away from the distortion, we have to see being sexual just as a natural thing and get it out of the realm of shame. Understanding that being sexuality and being sexual is a creative force. It existed before shame existed. It existed in the spiritual realm with the gods, with us, long before we ever came to the 3D world. And it's part of our nature. It's part of our ability to create and manifest. It speeds it up. It's actually speeds it up. And the more pleasure we feel, the more we can manifest quicker what we want. I think it comes down to deciding that it's being sexual is a powerful thing. It creates connections. It creates pleasure. It takes us away from worrying about things that are not, that we think are not happening in our lives. It being sexual is when I say being sexual, I realize I haven't talked about sex. Because being sexual is not about having sex. Sex is involved in that, but being sexual does not just mean having sex. But sex is definitely a part of it. So how to have an open conversation? It's just to have it. It's difficult to explain it. First of all, though, we do have to accept that nature. We have to accept our sexual nature. We have to get in tune with it, and we have to get connected to it. Right. I have to start re-familiarizing myself with my sexual nature. Maybe keep a journal about it, which will take me into my mental space and out of the feeling realm. But I can write about what I am feeling, and to keep me as much in my feeling space, and in feeling pleasure and all that. Right, yeah, I can give it a try. I think it's to make everything. Let's see if I can make everything. You can make everything pleasurable. If I can, maybe start there. From now, let me start with today. How to get in tune. How to get in tune with my sexual nature is to make everything a pleasurable, sexually pleasurable experience, as if like I'm having sex. Sex is an exchange of the masculine energy and the feminine energy. When they are both, the feminine is feeling good and feeling pleasure, and the masculine is also feeling good and feeling pleasure. And this is actually, sex is the process. The process of sex is actually, it explains, not explain, it shows the process of creation, where the feminine is seduced, and sometimes she experiences contrast. The masculine shows her what she is thinking about by being a reflector, and keeps her feeling good, keeps her feeling sexual, even if he has to lie. The wholesome masculine principle of creation doesn't really lie, but it does put you in a position where you do have to have faith, because it's not going to show you outright. You're not going to see outright with your physical eyes. You're not going to see your manifestation physically, but the masculine the masculine element of creation is gonna constantly urge you to just trust, have faith, and try to have sex with you in the spiritual realm, as in giving you a gift of intuition. Do this, So there's this dance between the masculine and the feminine, and then the more you feel good, the more you feel pleasure, and the more you have faith, and knowing that what I want will come to pass. The masculine provides it. He's going to provide you with contrast too. But that's also a challenge for you to just continue loving him unconditionally, and knowing that the contrast is all there for you, for your growth, and it's all there for your manifestation, for the process of for the specifying. Contrast is necessary for you to be able to specify exactly what you want, so that the masculine can provide it for you. So if I start right now with feeling pleasure all the time. Feeling pleasure is like a broad state. In order for the masculine to know exactly what he can provide me, or what he is going to provide me, he needs to provide me with contrast, so I get more clearer and clearer on what exactly I want. What exactly does it mean for me to have something that is a manifestation of pleasure? It can be a lot of things. It can be a house, can be a car, can be a vacation, can be money. Depends. So that's why the masculine provides us with contrast. So we know. So we are clearer about what we want. The masculine needs that clarity, that specificity, so he can provide us with what we want. So pleasure, feeling pleasure is a broad state. So getting in tune with pleasure, making everything pleasurable. Is how I get back in tune. Pleasurable, and then pleasurable and sexual, which is also a part of pleasure. Eating is also a part of pleasure. putting makeup on, styling my hair. All these things are things that give me pleasure. I think being more conscious about it, which again we're going into the mental realm. I don't really want us to go too much into the mental realm, because once we get into the mental realm we think too much. And this is a feeling thing. It's more of a feeling thing. This is why it's gonna be different for every one of you. What gives me pleasure will be different from what gives you pleasure. I cannot tell you that. But what we can do, what we can start with, is by activating that pleasure field in us. I'm not very happy with this video as it is, because I feel like I'm all over the place. But this is how usually my videos start anyway, because I'm still trying to get to the core of how can I have an open sexual conversation without giggling. Yeah, the key is to fully accept my sexual nature as a potent creative force, not as something shameful, and stop buying into it as something shameful. Yeah, let's see. Vollleggen.